100 shows. You should count and see if you can do your 100th episode.
Hello and welcome to You and Your Health. I hope you all had a fabulous summer. And I am Dr. Sandi Chapnick, and welcome to the new season of You and Your Health. Well, normally we do more health-related topics, but what we're going to talk about today is more social health, the social health of Billerica. And to that end, a couple of years ago, before our, now I think 2 former town managers left, Rocco Longo, he created a group called Billerica Cares. And he pinpointed some very specific members of the community to help the community with its diversity, its new diversity that it has now that maybe it didn't have in years past. And with diversity can sometimes come challenges. So he helped create this group called Billerica Cares. And what we want to do tonight is take you through how we were born, what has transitioned over the course of the last couple of years, and most importantly, what is upcoming now in the upcoming next month or two. That's something that we're very excited about, a film festival. And we want to make sure that everyone in the community knows what's going on and hopefully can participate in this new and wonderful film festival that we have going on. To help me with that tonight, I have the chairman or chairperson of Billerica Cares, Sandi Lanteigne, who has been in the Billerica school system for 30 years. She is the assistant chairperson of special education at the high school and also teaches special education at the high school. We are very fortunate to have her as the, not only that, but as the chairperson for Billerica Cares, someone who has been with Billerica Cares from the inception as I have, and she is going to be my special guest for the evening. Welcome, Sandi.
Thank you very much, Sandy. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So what I really want to do is help you take me through Billerica Cares, where Billerica Cares has started from, and what we have done so far in the past, maybe also what our mission is, and what we're trying to accomplish here in Billerica. So if you can start to take me back a little bit, how and why did you get involved in Billerica Cares, and bring me up to speed so that they can now start to understand what Billerica Cares is about, what our mission statement is. So if you could kind of take me through.
I'd be happy to. So first of all, Billerica Cares was suggested to me by Dr. Serio. Dr. Serio is a superintendent of schools. Dr. Serio had a friend and town manager, Rocco Longo, and I was involved with Dr. Serio because I'm a teacher, but more than that because I belong to a group called Kids Respecting Kids. Kids Respecting Kids is a group that want to enhance the climate of respect within the schools and look at the things that are happening in the schools and how we can make it more inclusive and how we can help kids to feel safe and feel included and accepted. And because of my work with Tony Serio, Tony said, Sandi, we're starting this thing. You know Rocco. I think you should come to this first meeting. And so I did that, not knowing who would be there or what was going to be happening. And around this big table were all of these people from very diverse areas in town. There were people from clergy, there were people from their own businesses, there were people that were involved in the politics of government, there were people that were involved in the school system, there were people that were involved with handicapped people, people that were involved with the elderly in town. And when we did that, we decided to look at Billerica as how do we encourage acceptance and growth, and how do we deter elements that are exclusive or that have to do with aggression or exclusion.
Right.
And in doing that, we came up with a whole bunch of things that would allow us to put forth a message, acknowledge those people that are doing things that are inclusive, and come to kind of an understanding of who were we and what was this body that we were with, this Billerica Cares body. And the first thing we had to do was come up with a name. Remember the whole naming process? We had a really tough time with that.
Right. Originally, it was going to be part of, oh, now I'm blanking.
No Place for Hate.
No Place for Hate. But for some, I think, very real political reasons, we kind of steered away from that.
We did.
But felt that the idea of No Place for Hate is something that we really wanted to embody.
Yes.
but we wanted to put our own name on it.
A more positive spin. Instead of using the word hate in the title,
Right.
what could we stand for that was more inclusive?
Exactly. And I remember that one of those first meetings where we were just throwing terms up on the board.
Yes.
And we came up with CARES. And
Yep.
CARES stands for, go ahead.
Well, the C is for community and helping everyone feel like they're part of a community. Then we have the A, and that's for acceptance, having people feel like they're accepted in town and being part of whatever it is that we're doing. The R was the big respect, I think.
Respect, which really is probably the backbone of the group.
It really is.
Yeah, everyone is allowed to have their own opinions, but I think being able to respect other people's opinions, I think is pretty clear that that's a big part of our group.
Yeah. And the next one in the mission is being able to enrich each other and how all of our diversity enriches the community as a whole. And finally, support.
Support.
To be supportive of each other and to be supportive of the new people that are coming into our town or people that have already been here but are more disenfranchised. They don't feel like they have a group to belong to, or they don't feel like they have a place yet. And to give them a medium to have a place to belong.
And over the course of time, I know we not only named our group, but we created a mission statement. We now have our own logo.
We do.
Which was designed by someone at the high school, a student at the high school, correct?
That's correct.
Quite the contest.
We did. We went through the school system. What we actually did was we took the school system and we said, let's have a logo contest. And kind of like a little, what do you call a phrase or a slogan? What is going to be our phrase or our slogan for Billerica? So if somebody wants to know us, what would they know us by? So we asked the students, come up with some kind of a slogan for us, a branding slogan, and come up with a logo. So a lot of people sent in drawings and pictures, and then other people sent in little phrases and monikers that they thought might be appropriate as a branding slogan.
Right.
A girl at the high school came up with a beautiful slogan for us that had the shape of a world encompassed by the letters B, C, and inside C is the globe. And that's the one that won the contest. And in terms of our branding slogan, it's tomorrow's hope, because the children are our hope.
And that was coined by, how old was she?
A little first grader over at the Vining School.
So not only are we reaching out to adults, but even more importantly, we're reaching out to the children, and they got on board really right away.
They really did. And as an educator, that's my most important goal. You can teach kids reading, writing, and arithmetic, but one of our most important things to teach them is citizenship. It takes a village to raise a child, and parents are involved, their friends and family and their larger community. The school is involved. The whole town is really involved. The sports programs, the Billerica Boys and Girls Clubs, the library. All of the town has all different kinds of programs that actually help to enrich the lives of the children and the families that are in town. But if we can find some way to bring the commonality of all of the schools together, that touches so many families just by virtue of having their children within the school system.
Absolutely. So now it's been a couple of years, and we've had several programs along the way. Would you give them a little bit of an idea of what we've done so far, and then we're going to dovetail right into what's coming up, which is really the main focus of this show today. So give them a little bit of an idea of what we've done so far.
Okay. Well, of course, first we had to start off and figure out who were we and what did we want for a mission. So we kind of putzed around with what kind of things we want to do to acknowledge the whole piece of diversity and how do we want to present ourselves in terms of that. So our first endeavor was we had a Legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, Reflections on Dr. Martin Luther King by Laura Smith, who is someone who is connected to Middlesex Community College.
If I'm not mistaken, she is a vice president.
Well, the assistant to the president.
Assistant to the president?
Yes.
It's a very high up position.
It is.
And she's quite the dynamic person.
She really was. And as well as that, she runs the Laura Smith Foundation out of Lowell. And she provides a lot of funds and money to people who are trying to do the same things as us, to embellish and to enrich the lives of children and of people so they can move further with the legacy of helping others, paying things forward. The second thing that we did was we decided we wanted to come up with those contests and those logos to kind of get our name out to people. We were in Yankee Doodle parades, and we kind of put ourselves forth with acknowledging people who were doing good within the community.
Right.
This year, we're starting our next cycle, and what we'd like to do is we'd like to put forth a couple of activities that will bring those same kind of things together and help to create dialogue. This is our year to create dialogue. So we have 2 out of 3 activities already planned.
So I think we should probably talk about them.
Okay. Our first one is the film festival. The film festival is called Bridges to Understanding. The Bridges to Understanding Film Festival is all about trying to look and find movies that take a situation where people were in the unknown. They didn't know each other, they didn't know about each other's cultures, or they didn't know about the dynamics of each other. And during the course of the film, what we're going to do is watch those people as they go through the journey of understanding about what these other people are about, and see the changes that happen within them as they learn about themselves in learning about the others.
Correct. So just coming up with the films was a project in and of itself.
It really was. Narrowing it down was very difficult.
How many films were brought to our attention?
We had a list of 50 that we started off with, 50 films that we were looking at. And then we tried to narrow it down because the series itself is only going to have 6 films within the series.
Okay. So were you on the committee for this?
Yes, I was.
And the chairperson of this committee was?
Sandy Wilson.
And I wanted to bring her name out because I'm sure everyone watching TV knows Sandy Wilson at some point. So
Sandy Wilson is very involved with a lot of community work within Billerica. And Sandy wanted to do this film festival as well because she thought that being able to talk into dialogue is one of the most important things we can do in order to share our own diversity and learn about others.
Right. So we narrowed it down to 6 films.
We did.
So let's talk about the films a little bit, as much as we know about them.
Yep.
To kick this off, when they're starting. And do you have were you involved in why each of these 6 films were picked?
I was involved in narrowing the field down from 50 down to much smaller.
Okay.
But then we each got to vote about why we thought a film might be important, and we tried to pick films that would have different meanings in different ways. So our first film is called Paperclips, and that's a film that's dear to me because it's about a school and a bunch of children. And they were trying to talk about the Holocaust and talking about things that had happened around the world, and the phrase kept being thrown about, which was 6 million people. And the younger children couldn't figure out, what does 6 million mean? What is 6 million of something? So the faculty was thinking about, how do we represent 6 million? How do we get these kids to understand that? And they thought of coming up with, well, we'll just collect 6 million paper clips, which turned out to be a huge endeavor, one of which they didn't realize the proportions of trying to collect 6 million of anything would be. But over the course of the film, they were able to meet that goal with success.
Okay. And how much have you seen the film? Because I have to say that I haven't seen it yet, and I think I might be the only one in the committee who hasn't seen it, because I even know my family has seen it. Have you seen it?
No, I have not. I saw all of the film through the internet.
Okay.
But again, a lot of the people in the committee that were picking films, we each saw certain films so that we could bring that to the table and say, yeah, we thought that would be a good film to watch, or no, it would not really be what it is that we wanted to address with our first undertaking.
Okay. So Paperclips was chosen as the first film. Now, not only are we showing a film, but my understanding is that we're looking to have a panel discussion, so almost like a debriefing afterwards.
That's exactly right. The film itself is going to be important because the film will show us what happened in the transition of the people going through the film. After that, we're going to have a panel discussion, and we're hoping to include people that are quote-unquote experts in the field that can bring us the flavor of what it is that we were trying to present to people and their own personal take on what was happening within that film. For example, this first film, Paperclips, several people on the committee have talked to people that they know or people that they're involved with through their other affiliations to find people that may actually have people that have things that they can say concerning the Holocaust and concerning that time in history. I
can tell you that one of the guests for this discussion, I'm providing a a dear friend of mine where I live was actually living in Austria at the time of World War II. Being Jewish, he was clearly right smack in the middle. He, fortunately for him, did not have to escape a concentration camp, but he was there through the entire time, so understood what it was like to be in that environment. So I believe he's going to be one of the panel discussion people for that evening. And I know there's another person who I believe she went down to that school. Did she go down to that school and bring the film? I'm trying to remember how.
She's the one that presented the film to her group.
Okay, all right.
And that's how we actually even ended up with the title, because people from her group had watched that film,
Okay.
and she had been part of the discussion about that film.
Fabulous.
And she has family ties to that whole period in history.
Perfect. What's our second film? Oh, first of all, when does the film series start?
Well, the film series is through the fall. It's going to be 6 Wednesdays in the fall. Our first film, Paper Clips, is going to be presented on September 23rd at 6:30.
Where?
And we have Billerica Memorial High School Auditorium as our venue, which will be great because parking won't be a problem, and there won't be any problem with people having nice, comfortable seats and being able to see the film. There'll be refreshments served after the film is over, so people can go out and stretch and have some refreshments and then come back in and participate in the panel discussion if they so choose.
Now, the 23rd, that's a Wednesday, correct?
Wednesday evening.
Wednesday evening at 6:30.
At 6:30.
And there is no fee for this, correct?
There isn't. It's free to the public.
And even the refreshments?
There's refreshments that are free as well.
Perfect. What a great date night out.
It would be, especially with the family, to bring your children along.
Because, well, all of these, let's go that way. All of these films, family friendly, correct?
Yes, they are.
Any age limitations at all?
No, there really aren't. We tried to pick films and topics that would allow an entire family to be there at the same time.
Perfect, perfect. So what's the next film on?
Well, the second film is Freedom Writers, and some kids have already seen this. They talk about it at school. Some families have gone to see this already. So to have that as our second film, but to also have the panel discussion afterwards, I think is going to help to bring that film to life as well.
Why don't we go through the entire list? And are there any on the list that you've actually seen that you can speak about?
Well, I've seen several of them.
Okay.
I did see Freedom Writers.
Okay.
The next film is To Kill a Mockingbird. That's a classic. I think that everyone has seen To Kill a Mockingbird. The next one is Slumdog Millionaire. Slumdog Millionaire has had a huge notoriety. In fact, the whole Bollywood dance scene and music scene has been brought even farther forth because of that movie. The next one is Young at Heart.
I'm not familiar with that one at all.
I'm not either, but apparently Donna Popkin, who is with our Council of Agents, Donna Popkin really thought that this would be a great film to watch. So Donna threw that one into the fray, and we voted that one to come in as well.
Perfect.
And our last bill is still to be determined. We want to see what kind of response we have. People might be giving us ideas of something that they think would be a good title.
Okay.
We still have 46 films that we're looking at, so if it's one of those, or it could be something that comes in as we're watching these that brings us in another direction.
So the Billerica community can certainly get involved in voicing their opinion as to what we show next.
Yes, they can. We're looking for feedback both at the time that we show the film and then afterwards. If somebody wants to throw something in the suggestion box or speak to any of us that are there at the time and say, we really thought this film was good. Geez, this made me think of another film that you might want to look at for another festival at another time. So we're looking for suggestions and contributions.
So I've seen a couple of these films. Slumdog Millionaire was a movie that I think that everyone has seen. And in thinking about it, I'm trying to think as to why that movie was picked, and I'm sure you had some discussion as to why Slumdog Millionaire made the cut. Was there an underlying reason?
Well, we tried to pick films that would give us all different kinds of diversity. We wanted some cultural diversity in there. We wanted differences in ages. We didn't want everything to be middle-aged people with middle-age issues. We wanted some films that would be really geared to looking at the young, some films that might be more susceptible to the teenage years, and films that would have something to do to touch their hearts. and films that would be able to speak to things that we might know nothing about at all, or never go to see if they were in the theater, but we might come and participate in this kind of a forum. Like paper clips. I'm not really big into documentaries myself to go out to them, but I love to be involved in a discussion about a documentary, or in an area where I would see a documentary and then be able to talk about it, to process what actually happened in the documentary.
This is like our own little book club, isn't it?
It is.
But it's now a film club.
That's right.
So we have this scheduled, and I know that it's going through the fall, and I think it's for us that where Billerica Cares bringing this to the town, I think our goal is also to make sure that more and more people in town know who we are and why we are.
That's true.
Now, as far as, I don't think I've been to as many meetings as you have, being as you're the chairperson. Do we have other things in the work that we want to discuss in front of everybody?
We have one that's really gelling and coming together, and that is we would love to do some kind of a lecture series or a symposium series, and we'd like to involve the students at the high school who are going to be moving forth into the world, start to make their college career plans, start to move out and go into job market. So we're thinking of doing something that the high school social studies is the department we picked first, to work with kids that are in the social studies department, to have discussions about diversity, cultural diversity, political diversity, religious diversity, all the different kinds of diversity that they're going to encounter in their classes within the social studies department, to start to look at some of those things and talk about them in a way that lets us dialogue. So our first one is going to be, we're hoping to happen in the fall. We've got the social studies department now ruminating about what it is that they want to crystallize to be the theme for that.
Okay.
And we're talking to many people to see if we can get guest speakers. And we have a couple in line that we're trying to solicit their coming and they're participating and they're being our keynote and giving us advice about how we should proceed with that whole symposium, lecture speaking series piece.
Wow, I clearly missed that meeting.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
Now, can I assume that Tom Woodbury is instrumental in this part of this?
Tom Woodbury is our guidance director in Billerica Public Schools. Yes, he, as part of the high school staff and being a part of our team, he's going to be part of it. Dr. Tony Serio is going to be a part of it. Tej Tandon, who is a big member of Billerica Cares and has been involved with us since the beginning, he's a major part of it. He has connections with Harvard. We have connections with Middlesex Community College. We have connections with a lot of the big universities because of members of our team. So we're looking to see how we can do this in a way that's going to also get us involved with the higher education facilities to help us frame what we're doing.
We got a lot going on.
We do. It's very exciting. This is a very exciting group.
It is. So, dovetailing back into the kids respecting kids, because I want to make sure you get a chance to talk about that as well. Are there things that you're doing in Kids Respecting Kids that you would like them to know about?
Well, Kids Respecting Kids is really the forum and the vehicle that allowed me to be part of Billerica Cares. Kids Respecting Kids is a group of parents and members at large that want to enhance the climate of respect in Billerica Public Schools. Our mission is to have a system-wide theme, language, a protocol for doing things that will allow our kids to feel safe, to be included, to move forward, to be able to be good citizens, good stewards of our town and our resources, to be able to learn about cultures and about other ways that people have teamwork and have things together. So Billerica Cares and Kids Respecting Kids often host things with and for each other, and we do tandem things together. So it's an ability to say, we're focusing on the schools and the children, Billerica Cares is focusing more on the community at large, and how can we use all of our resources together to meet those ends instead of you working here and we'll work there, and we could be working for the same goals when we can pool our resources and make an event even bigger and be able to do things for both of us and have commonality.
Beautiful. So I know part of one of the things that I'm doing for Billerica Cares is membership. And being able to have this community move forward, the more minds that we get,
Yes.
the more we open up to the community to not just be there for what we're trying to do for you, but to be an active participant. We're constantly looking for people to join us. We're not this autonomous group here.
Yeah.
The more people that we get, I think the more change we can affect here in Billerica.
Yeah.
Not that Billerica needs a lot of changing, but Billerica has changed over the course of time. Now, I've only been in town for 23 years, but I've seen a drastic change in Billerica over the time. It's become a very diverse town in the last 23 years.
Yes.
And the more people that we can get involved with us, I think the better we can make our town.
I think that's very true. I mean, I've been here over 50 years in Billerica. Billerica is where I was born, it was where I grew up, where my family grew up, where my children are growing up. And because I work in the school system, I know that our diversity population is really less than 10% still, but it's growing. And I want us to be accepting and ready to invite people in rather than have something happen in town and then try to rally the troops to figure out how do we solve this problem. It'd be nice if we could have a vehicle in place to allow people to really feel accepted and feel like they're part of the whole community.
Yeah, I think that's why both you and I are involved in Billerica Cares.
I think so too.
So we don't have much time left. What I do want to make sure is that you did watch the show, you know that we're having the film festival. This is something that I think you, your entire family, and your friends and neighbors and everyone else around would really love and enjoy. And it's a time where we can spend some time as a community, watch a free film, eat some free food, and be able to discuss and digest what we just watched and hopefully create some bridges for understanding so that we can really grow as a community. So again, we're starting September 23rd.
Yes.
Our first film is Paperclips.
Yeah.
It's starting at 6:30.
6:30.
And is that when the film is going to, is the film going to start promptly at 6:30, or is there going to be a little meeting time ahead of time?
6:30 the film will start. The doors will open at 6 o'clock. And the film will be about 2 hours, and then we're hoping to have a panel discussion afterwards. It'll run about a half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, depending on what the discussion entails. But we don't want to short shrift it and cut it off too soon, and we don't want to drag it out. So we're going to let it just flow and see what happens.
Perfect. So in the very short amount of time we have left, is there a message you want to, you're a lifelong Billerica person, so is there a message you want to share with them about how you feel about Billerica and what you want to see happen here because of Billerica Cares?
Well, I guess my biggest message is I feel like I'm really a member of Billerica. I've been here since I was born. This town has given me an awful lot. My children have grown up here, and they've given my children an awful lot. And it's time that we all give back, the people that are already here, and invite other people to come in. And I think Billerica Cares is going to grow to be a vehicle that's going to be able to do that. So the executive board is trying to come up with activities, but then we're going to be inviting the town as a whole to become adjunct members, members at large, that when we have something, maybe Yankee Doodle Parade, we'll have a whole bunch of people just there as Billerica Cares people. Or if we have some kind of a festival or some kind of an outing where big photos are taken in town, a whole bunch of people from town will just come and say, yes, I want to be part of this. I want to help include people.
Yeah.
I want to be part of something that's just bigger than me, or just bigger than my little group that I'm associated with.
Okay. Well, Sandy, thank you so much for sharing, and hopefully we'll see everyone out there on September 23rd at Paperclips.
Please feel free to come.
Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you at the next show of Billerica Cares. Have a good night.